Everyone I know in my life who's successful has failed more than they have been successful. Hey there folks, this is Josh, Stoney Ridge Farmer. Welcome back to another gorgeous day here on the Stoney Ridge Farm. This is Buddy, and I'm here to talk to you guys a little bit about success, failure, and some of the things that I think that we're failing in our society, with our children and with ourselves. So come along today as we talk about success, failure, and what it means to fail and what you learn from failure. It's missing in a lot of our lives, and especially our children's lives.
If you mess with my freedom, I'll tell you just what you can kiss. That's right.
Welcome back to the Stoney Ridge Farm. If this is your first time here, your 50 millionth time here, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. It's winter time, but we've got a sunny day out here. Awesome. I've been knocking out little projects on the farm, and I wanted to come to you guys and talk just a little bit about the farm and about success and about failure and about the things that we need to think about and how we are cheating this new generation of young people. And I don't want to say children, I just say young people. We're cheating them, and even my generation, we're cheating them out of life experience, and we're cheating them out of being their best person by having the fear of failure. They possess the fear of failure. We all fear failure. We all don't want to fail. We don't want to disappoint ourselves. We don't want to disappoint others. We don't want to disappoint anyone. I don't want to disappoint Buddy. He doesn't want to disappoint me. But it's important, guys. We learn from failure. We learn from doing things like this. And the thing that inspired this video was I was talking to my niece yesterday. She said, Josh, I need a camera. I need a good camera to do some filming with. I said, you know, that'd be great. I've got this camera. It's a $1,000 camera. I'll sell it to you for 300 bucks. She said, well, I don't have any money. I don't have any cash. I'm 22 years old. I don't have any money. And I thought to myself, and I said this to her, I said, by the time I was 22 years old, I had 4 houses. Why don't you have any money? Why don't you have anything? And I think that the reason is fear of failure. Fear of failure is what pushes us away from success so much. Think about the most successful people that you can imagine in your entire life. One that really comes to mind with me is Michael Jordan, arguably the best basketball player in the history of mankind. That man missed more shots than anyone else. That man failed so many times, yet was the most successful basketball player and recognized as the best, arguably the best basketball player in the history of the world. Success courts failure, guys. Now, what happens when we do have success? We have success, we have failure, failure, failure. We work our butts off, we do our very best. Or we sit back and we wait for people to give it to us. And we're going to talk about that here in just a second, okay? So we work, and we work really hard, and we work really smart, and we fail. And we get fired from our job, or we don't do it right, or we get pulled into the boss's office, and you thought you were doing something good, and you didn't do something good. And you get talked to by this person. That's a lesson. That's a life lesson. Oftentimes, and I think about this all the time, I work for myself now. And oftentimes I think back to when I worked for other people and the life lessons that I learned from those other people. By being pulled into the office, I was constantly in trouble, always in trouble, because I thought outside the box, because I didn't think, do what they say, not what you think is best. I didn't think that way, and a lot of you guys probably don't think that way, but I think we're building a generation of young people nowadays that don't think that way, that are so afraid of disappointment and failure that they won't dip their toe in the water. And I think hopefully this video can be inspiring to you guys. Show it to young people. Share this video with young people. You've got to learn how to fail. You've got to learn how to fall. When you were a child and you learned first how to crawl or ooze, and then you learned how to crawl, and then you learned how to walk. Imagine if you had stopped trying to learn to walk as a child, as a baby, when you fell down the first time. Success courts failure, guys, and I think it's an important message to have. Another important message I think I would like to talk about is the lack of financial education in our public school systems. I think it's your duty as a parent, as a grandparent, and a lot of people really fear the topic of finance. They really, really fear this topic. It's not something to be afraid of. It's something to embrace, and it's something to learn about, and it's something to educate yourself about. Your entire world is based upon finance. Your retirement, your first job, your last job, it's all based upon financial competency, not letting somebody else handle that and not being fearful of it. A lot of folks, when you get to talking about money, when you get to talking about finance, investments, future, retirement, they freak out. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to think about it. And I pose the challenge to everyone here today, including myself, to not be afraid to fail, to not be afraid to learn about finances, to not be afraid to take a class to learn how to do that. If you want to learn how to dance, how do you learn how to dance? You take a dance class. You find somebody that knows how to dance. If you do the moves wrong, are you going to stop trying? No. How are you going to learn about finance? How are you going to learn about success? You've got to fail a little bit, guys. I think also we live in a world where there is absolute resentment, and there is a defined line between what's poor and what's rich. And I think even saying the word rich and poor, okay, and there's a wonderful book, guys, I'll post a link to it down there below. It's called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. There's another book called The Attractor Factor. There are so many wonderful books out there about learning how to fail and succeed. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a wonderful book by Robert Kiyosaki. It's about a fellow that grew up, it's Robert Kiyosaki, he grew up in Hawaii. One of his dads was very well educated, and he was his poor dad. And the other guy was not very well educated, but he had street smarts and he had guts, and the guts to fail. And the guts to fail is what made him the most financially successful person he could be. I think you guys need to explore this idea. If you're a grandparent, if you're a parent, buy that book or get that on audiobook, and when you get in the car with your kids, listen to that audiobook. And they might be like, I don't want to listen to this, Mom. But I'm going to tell you, it's something important. We all work our entire lives, and a lot of us don't know a lot about finance, and we don't have a plan for our future, and we don't have a plan for our retirement. And we end up broker when we retire than we were when we started working. And that's not right. So don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to learn. Don't be afraid to try new things. And the last thing I want to talk about is luck. And I'll say this, when I go to the local convenience store and I fill up with fuel or gas or whatever, or I grab a little snack, I inevitably, every Friday evening or Saturday evening, I see people buying piles and piles of lottery tickets and scratch-off lottery tickets. Let me tell you something. The odds of winning the lottery are pretty darn low. The odds of failing at something are pretty darn high. But the odds of being successful from winning the lottery are so outlandishly low, and it's so ridiculous to see the mindset that it takes. And some of you guys might buy lottery tickets. It may be your hobby. It may be something that you enjoy doing. But I want to pose this thought to you. When you go in there and you spend $35 or $40 or $50 a week or a month or a day on the chance of being successful, wouldn't it be better to spend that money on something to educate yourself into a successful situation and out of poverty? We're all born the same way, guys. We're all born naked, and we're going to leave out of here naked. It's what we learn and what we do, and that we leave our world a better place, and we pass on a legacy to our family and our children and our nieces and our nephews, which I don't have children right now, but nieces and nephews for sure. It's all about what we leave behind and what we do while we're here. Don't be scared to fail, guys. That is the take-home message today. Don't be scared to fail. Success courts failure, and being successful is not just about luck. You've got to be smart. You've got to educate yourself. You've got to try, and you can't be afraid to fail. Thank you guys so much. Me and Buddy enjoyed spending some time with you. I've got a little bit more farm work to do, but I was thinking about this today, and I'm one of those guys that listens to a lot of podcasts. Please share this. This is something you could put in the car, you could play and enjoy. Please share this with like-minded people or people that you think need to think more and not block out those things. Those people that you know that are afraid to talk about finances. Those people that you know who are super smart, but they're afraid to take the first step. My little niece, who said, I'm 22 years old and I don't have $300. What do you mean? Why don't you? Go out, take a chance. And she was taking a chance by getting a camera to try and be an entrepreneur and learn how to do things. And I applaud her for that. She's a fantastic person. Guys, thank you so much. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I'd love to have you back here on the farm. I hope you enjoyed the scenery during this little video, and I hope to see you again here on the Stoney Ridge.
Come on down to the Stoney Ridge. Bring your wife and bring your kids. We're living life pure and sweet. That's the way it's supposed to be, Stoney Ridge.
Little drooling dog. Got drool all over him. All right, unload, unload. Success. Load up. He used to fail at that. Good boy. See you guys next time.